All right, ladies, so now looking at our, our item analysis, we circled our lowest performing questions. You have those down?
Oh, yes.
All right, so now, let's look, I gave you a copy of the test. Do y'all have a copy of the test?
Yes.
All right.
Ew, that's what it
So,
was.
let's look at, um. Sorry, guys, I have mine right here. So I have for all of fourth grade, so let's go ahead and look at question 25. Cause that, for overall, that was one of our lowest ones for all of them.
Which one?
Question 25,
Yeah.
yeah? Did y'all circle did you
Yeah.
circle
Yes.
25 as well?
25.
All right, so let's look at that. So let's.
Oh, that is the lowest one, 25.
Mhm.
Okay.
Well, I had one that was lower, but I'm.
Okay, and we'll look at, and it'll probably be one of my next one, cause we're gonna go over, about 4 to 5 questions here, and then we'll talk about why do we think it's lower?
Okay.
Okay, so let's look at 25. What do we notice about 25?
So it's starting off, it's fractions. So
Perfect. So we know
Yeah,
fractions are
sometimes-
always,
a little hard for the kids.
Uh-huh.
Right. To his friends, which to his left.
This, I mean, they're like left. They thought they were gonna do something else. Let's see, right? Let's see. Jeez.
so we saw that it was fractions, right?
Mhm.
Okay. So thinking about this, now let's go and look at your item analysis per question. So this one right here. Okay? Do we have this one? All right.
Okay.
So we're gonna look at what they chose. So the correct answer is A, right?
Uh-huh.
But only 26% got it correct. Okay. And let's look at, so there's not really, they didn't favor any other one, right? It was kind of across the board that they were just like, oh,
You kind of just chose.
they
the
just
one
were
that
like,
you like.
it's hard. Okay, so let's think about that. So it's a fraction, it's kind of like in the middle of the test, towards the end, so that has a lot to do with it too. Their stamina towards the end, you know. And then let's think about it. What was the question asking you? How much was left, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we got to think. What steps did they have to do?
Well, they had to do, first of all, they should have done their ABCD method.
Mm-hmm.
But I think just by looking at, because it was 23, 23, I mean, yeah, 23, 26, 33, 19.
Mm-hmm.
So when you look at all of it, nobody understood it.
Okay.
Nobody understood what was being asked.
Uh-huh.
And so that makes me think I'm gonna have to go back and reteach it.
Mm-hmm.
How much time did I spend on fractions? And then how much time did I focus on? Why did you do that?
So looking at this,
Uh-huh.
look at the denominators,
They're the same.
They're the same.
but look at the answer choices.
They're not. They had to convert.
Yeah.
They had to do. So you got to think about it.
This was
They had-
multi-step.
This was a multi-step, right?
Mm-hmm.
First, we had to add how much they got,
Yeah.
right, to make the cookies, and then they had to subtract it from the what? From the whole.
Mm-hmm.
Do they know what the whole is? Some do,
I think-
some don't, right?
Yep. And then
Because
something won and some didn't get 12 like the 12.
you know they know
12,
that
yeah.
one whole is one, but what was it? They have to look at their denominator. So then they got what was left. But then, if you look at your answer choices, none of those fall under 12ths.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So then you have to go through each of those and kind of do like the butterfly method or do some type of method to see where 4/12 land on. So this one, so again, like you were saying, okay, fractions is always hard. We probably, you know, as we're working these next few weeks, how are we going to hit this in our
The multi-step is killing them.
the multi-step. All right. So what do you guys think? And we always know, like you said, it's fractions. Fractions are always hard,
Mm-hmm.
especially when
Right.
those denominators are not the same.
Yeah.
All right. So let's go ahead and look at number 20. That was also another lower one. Number 20. Number 20. And if you look at your item analysis as well, You can see,
Miles. From the ones is like 7 miles.
39, 37, 23.
So this is also another,
They were, it was, the table shows different distance in feet and equivalent distance in miles. So they had to convert, they had conversions, sorry.
mhm,
And so Samuel rides is like 7 miles. How many feet did Samuel ride?
here's another multi-type because the number of miles on here were even, 2, 4, 6. The next one should have been like 8, but it's 7.
right. And that's the thing, like you said, they started off on number of miles as 2,
Mhm.
right? How many feet? And this is where some of the kids were using the reference sheet.
Mm-hmm.
If they would have looked at their reference sheet, they wouldn't have to have done a lot of the math. And I know some of them were trying to divide 10,560 by 2, but if they would have looked at that reference sheet, they would have noticed that 1 mile equals 5,280.
And this is an
Mhm.
easy fix. This is an easy fix. This is something like, guys, this is something that you have. Use it.
Right, exactly, because every kid gets that reference sheet. So if they know that we're looking at distance, look at that 1 mile. And then all you had to do was do what? Multiply it by 7.
7.
And if we look at this item analysis right here that we have, again, it's just kind of across the board.
The question is on me.
Because that's where they thought. They're like, okay, 2, 4, 6, 7. And then it threw them off and they're like, I bet
That's
you
what
They're like,
that-
how do I work this out?
Yeah.
Like they were just mind blown.
Yeah, that it's not an even number. And if they probably didn't think, okay, but reference sheet, that's just an easy fix.
Because we had 10 students pick A, and then the rest of them were just kind of like all over the place again.
Yeah, they just
And again, that one was just kind of
because they couldn't figure it out. Because if they didn't have, if they didn't,
well, because I saw
If
some
they
of
didn't
them
look at
trying
the
to
table.
divide it, you know, and they were like, "Oh, this is getting hard," because they haven't divided up to 5 digits
Right.
or 7 digits. Sorry, they've only gone up to 3 or 4. You know, so again, like you said, that's a super easy fix because every kid gets that reference sheet. All right, so we talked about 25, 20. Let's look at number 8.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's my
Number
my
8.
notes.
I'm like, really, guys?
Number 8.
Which states that you're doing all of their lines of
They didn't read it
are
right.
correctly.
They didn't read the directions. Like, why put it down here? Well, how about we put it over here so it's a continuation?
Okay, so we know first of all what kind of item type is this?
A multiple.
They have to multiple response, right?
Yeah,
They have to select 2 correct answers,
Mhm.
and then it's geometry. Geometry, I know, has been towards the end. You know, it was like something
Yeah.
we kind of crammed in right before
Yes.
we took this benchmark, and then
Most of the kids answer.
this one's a little harder because on our item analysis it just says like how many percent got it right.
Right.
So it doesn't show you what they selected
And
unless we go through each of
I'm
them.
guessing they only picked one. They picked that easy one.
The heart.
Yeah, but they didn't look. They didn't. They're like, oh, that one's easy. They didn't see 2, and then they're like, okay, I
Right.
think that's what they did.
And this is where also, guys, we need to make sure that we're using that plexiglass. That they're saying, okay, are these lines correct? Can they put it over those shapes? And they can physically draw, you know,
Yeah.
plexiglass. I know, I mean, again, geometry, that was our last module that we did, and we were kind of crunching it in. But like, okay, look at it. Is it symmetry? What does that mean? Are they the same, you know? Because yeah, like obviously heart is one of them, but then there's these other ones over here that there's just so many lines that they're probably like, these don't make sense. And once we have that glass over that question, they can shade in and be like, okay, are they equal?
Right.
You know, and then the same thing with those. So that one was again, but it was towards the end.
I think that is what they're almost the 2 answers.
Yes.
Like that is because they're not used to choosing 2 answers. It's
Right.
more of choose the correct answer. So,
Yes.
Yeah,
So we
that's what I
got
got
25, 20.
No.
Number 7 was that?
I
Which
had
one did
30.
you have? That you said was lower than that 25.
Mine was 16. Number 8.
Oh, number 8.
Yeah.
Okay.
Number 8. They like mine. Yeah, I only had 16 kids. Got it
Yeah.
correct. 16 of my kiddos got it right. Or
Okay.
yeah, 60%, sorry.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I was like, okay.
All right. Yeah, let's go look at number 7. Number 7.
Mhm.
Ooh. What is the greatest number of servings that can be made from these?
Okay.
Well, we could not choosing.
Let's look. Number 7.
Let's do this.
Between A.
A.
The correct answer is A.
Mhm.
But as you can tell, it was kind of also across the board.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's like, oh, it's too wordy. I'm just gonna guess. on
It's
the
too
part.
wordy. Correct. That's exactly what I was thinking. And kids, I know, especially like in the academies that I have them in with me, it's a word problem.
Mhm.
You know, and this one, it's like, okay, how are we going to work this? So let's look at it. Okay. Look at that question. The greatest number of servings. So, well, first of all, what are we looking for? You know? So we are looking for the servings. I didn't work this one out, so I want to work it out real
Each
quick.
serving is 8. Okay.
And then, so we have 53 pizzas for lunch. They cut each pizza into 8 slices. Each serving of pizza was 3 slices. Ooh, that's a
I
lot.
know.
That is a lot.
I
So
know.
we have 53 pizzas, and how much? So we have 8 slices per pizza. And each serving is 3 slices. So this one right here, what do you guys think?
I just think when they got, because they had, I'm like, oh, okay, 53 pizzas, 8 slices, and then wait, each serving of pizza, 3 slices. What is the great? It's like they read it and they're like, okay, it's numbers, it's something, and then they like, but what is it asking me to do?
Mm-hmm.
I
Like
think-
that question,
Uh-huh.
greatest number. Because if you think about it, whenever we have those word problems, does it really say the greatest number? They usually just say what is the number of slices that they
Mhm.
can make.
Yep.
They don't have that word greatest.
Greatest threw them off because when they see greatest and they think they're comparing.
Right.
Oh.
So first they would have to.
Now I got hungry. Oops, sorry. Okay, same.
So they would have to find the total, right? They first have to find the total number of slices. They would have to multiply the 53 times 8 to get those slices.
Mhm.
But then this is where it gets tricky. Each serving of pizza was 3 slices. So then now they have to go and do what? Divide.
Mhm.
And most, you know, like they don't think about, oh, we have to divide 424 by 3.
Because they thought right away, okay, well I multiplied, but then they're like, oh, what do I do with that? And
Mhm.
they got stuck.
So, and again, it's the greatest number of slices. Like that one is. And then this one's kind of tricky because if you look at D, you know your answer is 141. So they're like, is it 141 or is it 142?
Well, and then the thing too, 424, the multiplication,
If they did
was
the
an
first.
answer.
Exactly.
it was just if they stopped right there, they're like, oh, it's there. I know my
Uh-huh,
answer.
that was their first.
Right.
Alrighty. So we've done, let's see, you've done 25, 20, 8, 7.
Mhm.
And which other one do you guys want to do?
Okay, wait. 25,
I've
20,
got it.
8, 7. Mine didn't do too well on. Did we do 20?
Yes.
Oh, 24? What
Okay,
was
24. And I have 16 and 29. I don't know about you guys.
29 was one of my lower ones too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you want to do 29?
Yeah, let's look at 29. What do you
Okay.
guys think?
Yeah.
Let's look at 29. Oh, look at this. Look at that word problem.
Okay, sorry. Groceries.
Oh.
What do you think is what they am?
I think I'm hungry with ice cream. No, but I mean, they're trying to figure out it's asking them what cannot be used,
Exactly.
and they're usually used to finding which one to
Mhm.
use.
they have to find what. So they know how to work it out, but then now they have to go and do what?
Mhm.
The one that doesn't work.
The one that doesn't work. So it's all about how they read it. It's the
Uh-huh.
wording that's throwing them off.
Because they probably know that it's 720 divided by 4,
Mm-hmm.
but
Is
Which is the first answer.
was that the one they
and-
picked the most?
That's what I was gonna
That
check,
one?
see what they picked.
for overall, it was across the board just pretty even.
Well, I had
For
Why
for
did so
all
many
the four.
Why did
Fourth
so
grade.
many pick B? Right, am I looking at the right one?
Mm-hmm, 29. I had 37%.
I thought but that is B.
Yeah, the answer is B.
The answer is B.
Then
I had 32% pick A, which is the
The-
one that you do.
Yeah.
Because that's how you work it
Good.
out.
Right.
Exactly. And that's what
That's
you
what
were
was
what we were
throwing my
saying
kids
is
off.
that
that's why I just got confused right now.
because you're like,
Why did they pick B?
I was like,
B
why
was
did
the
they
correct
pick? Oh my
answer.
gosh, the right answer. Because I was like, I looked at I looked at 720 divided by 4. That's the answer.
Answer.
Right.
that's how you work it out. But again,
It's
see,
cannot.
you were a
See,
kid.
I did it.
How
Okay.
to read it. And then I had 20% choose D. And so
Okay.
I'm like, curious how they got that.
Okay, so how do we? Okay, so because since I did it,
Uh-huh.
how do I fix this?
So what do you? So okay, how now that we have these couple of
That is
weeks
a
to
good-
work on this, what do you? How are we going to work on these problems? Because as we noticed, the biggest two things is item types, like the item types of questions that we're
So
asking,
like
right?
multi-step.
Like multi-step, and then like the item types that we've talked about, how the questioning is. Like this one cannot. The other one was they said it selected 2 answers.
So like 2 answers, right?
So
So you
we
use the
gotta
one.
as we're working on this and we're building our boot camp, is we're working on those like item types, like the questions. What kind of questions are they asking? And obviously doing what? Multi-step.
Okay.
And so now with that being said, which teaks did I give you a copy of them? Probably not. Let me see.
The cheeks are there.
Yes, so you guys have them on y'all's. I have it overall here, like
Oh, okay.
where we're like our lowest teaks.
Okay.
But as you guys can, if you guys want to get a highlighter and highlight them on there to look at your teaks
Which one?
on your item.
On this one? Oh, okay.
Yes, I just have it in an easier one.
So 20 Oh, okay. Wait a
Okay.
minute.
Oh, okay.
Question 29. The
So-
student will demonstrate an understanding of how to perform operations and represent algebraic relationship.
So again, that's what.
We're looking at all our. Okay, 4, 8, 4, 9.
Your multi-step, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we, if you want to write like a little sticky note of saying, okay, I know I gotta work. We're gonna pick like your top 5, no, like your top 3 teaks that we want to work on. So we said multi-step, right?
Multi-step.
Which is 4. Is that I have? Well, number 7 was 4.4H. Solve with fluency 1 and 2 step problems involving multiplication and division, including
And that one's interpreting the remainder,
meters.
and that's what we were talking about.
Okay. hold on.
Okay.
Which one do we want? 8. That was the one we had the symmetry.
And then
So that fraction one was.
The fraction one was
4.3D. Compare 2 fractions with different denominators, because that's what
Yes.
we were talking about.
3D. Which one else did you write?
Did we look at question number 16? I don't think that one was low for you guys. Well, overall it was low for 4th grade.
That was perimeter, the area of rectangles.
And if you look at that question, which I was kind of, let me see, number 16.
We usually do good on
The perimeter of
perimeter.
a rectangle is 80 feet. The length of this rectangle is 23 feet. What is the area of this rectangle in square feet?
So as we're looking at that one, what are we like? This one is so crucial to have them draw
The
the
picture.
picture so they can label it and say, okay, perimeter is the outside, but that's your total.
The length is 23.
So
So they would
again,
still have to draw it, label it, and then think it's a rectangle.
it's a rectangle. So this one's kind of like a multi-step because they know one
Mhm.
side is 23. We know the other side's going to be 23. What do we have to do with those two? add them.
I'm gonna subtract from the 80. to
80,
get
and then after the 80, we had to do what?
divided by 2.
Divided by 2. So that one again goes with our multi-step. So can we plug that into our multi-step too as well?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because that's a lot of steps.
It's
You think
it's
every kid's gonna want to do that?
That's probably why they stop at the very first step they do.
Uh-huh.
They're like, this makes sense, and the answer's right there.
Because they start thinking, okay, well, I'm doing the ABCD method, and I'm doing all this stuff, and I'm like, okay, you're gonna have to do the ABCD method more than once.
And that's what we have to. I know, like, when you guys gave me like the academy group, like, been working on the hounding on those multi-step problems.
Mm-hmm.
Because that, I mean, it is hard. I mean, what kid wants to sit there and do all this math work? You know,
Yeah.
even for us adults.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. So, how are you feeling about this, ladies?
I feel like I feel better because I feel like I have a plan on how to
Okay.
move forward
Okay.
and how to help them move.
Perfect. Yes, absolutely. And again, so we have this data, we've gone through it, and now we're just ready to set up those. Do we want to set up like those groups, and how do we want to set up our boot camp? Do we want to do focus on a Tinka day? Do we want to do a mixture? What do you guys think?
I mean, I would prefer doing a Tika day, so
Okay.
it's like,
So you focus on that teak and hit it
yeah,
instead of
it's like drill and kill
right.
all day long. I'm like, okay, I know. I mean, and you can hit the multi-step with like other teaks. Like
Right.
if we're doing like that one with perimeter, we can drill and kill like multi-step all the way, but then only on perimeter or however that was, and then only fractions multi-step or only like that.
Incorporate it within
Yeah.
that team. Yes, absolutely. Well, whatever you guys like, whatever you ladies need, just let me know and we'll look at it. I know we'll pull, I mean, obviously, how do you guys plan to review the test now with your kids? Are you guys going to go through each question? Are you going to go do it during small group? What are you ladies feeling? What are you guys thinking?
I think maybe during small group to kind of group those that missed kind of the similar
Okay.
questions,
Yes.
so we can hit it a little more with them and
Mhm.
say,
Yep.
hey, let's see what you did, and look, kind of.
And you know, you guys kept the work that they used, like their scratch paper,
Mhm.
pull it out and show them. Say, hey, look, you didn't write anything. That's why you got, or
Let me show you
like,
what-
don't you think like that's probably why you got this question wrong?
Mhm.
You know.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I mean, again, it's how you guys feel like would be most effective for your kids. If during small group, if you want to do it whole group, you know. I mean, obviously, there's some questions that like
And I like her small group idea because it's like, okay, so you would have to do the pre-work of like, okay, these are the kids that missed this question. These are the kids that do that, and that's how you would pull your groups back. And then you could still go into a whole group piece when like you notice like on our the ones that we know
that everybody missed.
missed, that's the ones we're gonna hit whole group. So you can do both.
both.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then there's the ones that like you guys did so great on. Again, you could also hit whole group because
We'd celebrate it too.
we celebrate and be like, everybody did awesome on this one. And then if somebody chose a silly answer, it's like, why did you choose a silly answer? Like, that doesn't make sense, you know?
What would you do?
I feel like how you guys said, do whole group with the ones, like those that are harder questions. But then I would also probably pull them back in a small group just with the ones that got it wrong. You know, that need a little bit more
Extra help.
extra help.
Extra help, and maybe because the reason they got it wrong is because they didn't even understand it.
The
And
first
so maybe
time.
maybe once I explain it, then they would be able to verbalize like, oh, I should have done this and this and this instead of. So that shows me they just didn't understand it versus they just couldn't do the work at all.
Right.
So
Yeah, because some of them, I mean, they just really don't understand it at all. But
Mhm.
I mean, I would pull them back in that small group
What they're thinking.
and look at how they're thinking, where the misconceptions are.
Yes.
Especially with those misconceptions. Because sometimes it's just a little thing that they can just fix. And it'll
Right.
help them get those. And sometimes those questions are going to be hard. You know, you also have to know that it's a higher level thinking question for those master kids.
Or you just don't read it like I did.
Right. And sometimes, but that's when we also,
You just look for the first thing.
it's that teaching strategy of like, slow down.
Yeah.
Really
slow down.
take your time. Like, you know, some of these kids want to be done in 20 minutes for 40 questions.
Right.
Oh my god.
Yes.
All right, well,
Okay.
ladies, thank you so much. I look forward to all the growth that we're going to keep doing and the growth we have done. I'm excited. Thank y'all for y'all's hard work.
Okay.
We'll see our kiddos do. We got a few more weeks to go, ladies.
All right.
We can do this.
All
All right. Well, thank you so much. And we will be with y'all.
Thank you.
Okay.